Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to the Wicked Spoon at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. The Wicked Spoon is considered one of the major buffets of Las Vegas. They used to take reservations, kind of like Caesar's Palace, the Bacchanal, but now they're only accepting walk-ins and operating only on a brunch schedule, like 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. on weekends. I'll post the hours and the prices here. You can pause the screen if you want to look at it. If you want specifics, you should contact the hotel directly because things change all the time. And for specifics, feel free to call the hotel. Check the description for website links. I arrived a little bit early, so I went downstairs for a minute, and when I came back 10 minutes to 9, there was already a line. The wait was about 20-30 minutes. I was told that on weekends and busy times, you can expect to wait 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Some people do that. You have to determine if that's worth it for you. So the buffet here at the Cosmo is not as extensive in selection, but the quality is really good. I'm gonna do a walk around so you can just have a look yourself. The number of items may not be as much as Caesar's Palace or the Bellagio or the Wynn, but they have some really quality stuff here, and some of the things that might look plain are actually really good. Some of the dishes were very creative, like this banh mi salad, which is a take on a Vietnamese sandwich. I think your whole experience here will depend on what items you choose to eat. This dish here was just a one-biter, but when I tasted this was one of the most surprising items I had at this buffet. I'll get into more detail when I'm actually eating this later. Along with the creative items, they also had some familiar items that were actually quite good. The quality of the food at buffets is usually not quite up to restaurant standards because they're creating such a large number of items, and a lot of the items just sit under a heat lamp. I think it's really important to get your food when it first comes out because if it sits for too long, it's not as good. And there have been a lot of recent reviews on the buffets here in Las Vegas, and the consensus is that the quality of the buffets have gone down quite a bit and it's not as good as it was in the past. But that's to be expected. Everything from the high cost of food to the problems with the supply chain. Things are more difficult now. As soon as the people got in here, some of the dishes were totally depleted. This was one of them, the cheddar hash browns. They were just gone. And then the next item that was almost gone was the bone marrow. The bone marrow is one of the signature items for the Wicked Spoon buffet. You can see posts about it everywhere on Yelp. As far as the carving station goes, they did not have prime rib. I was told that prime rib came out at 11 a.m. So maybe it's better to come at 11 a.m. However, you do take the chance of running into a huge line. Another item that's well known here is the Wicked Fried Chicken. From having read the reviews on Yelp, this was really good. The mac and cheese, I don't know why it was angry. Maybe it was spicy. I didn't really feel like trying it today. The Wicked Spoon has an egg station where you can order your eggs any way you want them, and omelets. They had a lot of egg dishes. They had all kinds of dishes because this is a brunch. But remember, the prime rib doesn't come out till 11 is what they told me on this day. And they didn't have crab legs. I don't know if they came out later, but I had already read on Yelp that there was no crab legs at the Wicked Spoon. A couple of weeks ago they had them, but currently I knew that they had run out of crab legs. but they did have an attractive looking seafood boil. I'll have to try it out to see how it really is. Here is the Asian section, and for some reason the Asian sections at buffets don't really appeal to me. It's because I frequent a lot of good Asian restaurants, and I don't know if that's why, but the Asian foods doesn't look really good. I didn't really try any items, so I can't say for sure, but I did see other YouTubers talk about it, and so I decided to pass on the Asian section. I did see some items that looked really interesting, but I was gonna see if I had room after trying the things that I wanted to eat. They even had a hot pot station. I don't know exactly how this worked. It was Thai curry with some hot pot items. Buffets have so many items that I have to think and choose carefully what I want to eat because it's almost impossible to try everything. There's just too much food. So after the initial walk around, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to try. There were some very interesting looking dishes. Like this dish, gochujang eggs with potatoes and pita. Gochujang is a Korean spicy bean paste. It's used in a lot of Korean dishes. I've never seen it served this way with potatoes and pita. And there were items that I just wanted to eat because I was in the mood for them, like this gyro. It was actually really good. And of course, the eggs Benedicts. The spicy Korean bean paste eggs with potatoes and pita. This is not a really spicy dish. In fact, the bean paste is actually a little more sweet than spicy. It doesn't hit you hard like a pepper or a chili pepper. It's a slow burn that builds up. But this one was extremely mild, but the taste was incredible. The sauce and the egg mixed very well. It was one of the best dishes here. And the eggs Benedict also, I really liked it. The yolk was not as runny as I would like, but the hollandaise sauce was really pronounced. It was soft and velvety and creamy. It was pretty good. Any place that has an all-you-can-eat eggs Benedict deal, I have to be careful and limit myself because I could probably eat like 6 or 8 of these. The gyro was a little bit dry, the meat wasn't as moist, and the pita was a bit thick, so this was just average. The carnitas tacos, on the other hand, were a lot better than I expected. The corn tortilla had really good flavor, the carnitas were juicy, and the tacos were really good. I do recommend trying these tacos. They also had these sopas. It looked like an eggs Benedict, but with a different kind of bread. It had black beans in there, but I couldn't really taste it. It kind of got lost in the creaminess of the egg and the hollandaise sauce. I also decided to try a slice of their breakfast pizza. It had sausage or hot dogs. The flavor was really good from the sausage and the hot dogs, but it wasn't really all that great. They also had poblano corn with avocado, and that looked really attractive and it looked really good, so I had to get a little bit with some of the tortilla chips. That was also pretty good. The chicken, the Wicked chicken, was pretty good. It wasn't the most juiciest, but it was still moist and had really good flavor. I just can't go wrong with fried chicken. I have to have fried chicken. The bone marrow was good. Bone marrow is always good. With this pickled red onion relish or whatever they had on top, it gave a nice contrast to the creaminess of the bone marrow. When you come to the Wicked Spoon, you gotta try the bone marrow. This is their signature dish. For the second round, I got some meat items from the carving station. They don't have prime rib, but I got their sirloin steak. And then this dish. Beef tataki is a rare slice of beef. They only give you one bite. But this was really amazing. The sauce that they had was incredible. It tasted really good. The sirloin steak was disappointing. It was pretty dry. It was tough. It was not bad, but it's not something that I need to take up space in my stomach. The ham was pretty standard. The bacon and sausage pretty standard. I think this was some kind of a vanilla parfait. It was okay. And I also decided to get some of that banh mi salad. The banh mi salad had some ingredients that they put into a banh mi sandwich, a Vietnamese sandwich. But the taste was overwhelmingly radish. That's about all I tasted. Maybe I missed the dressing. Then I went and got the seafood boil. Most of the items in the seafood boil were pretty small. Everything from the clams, mussels, the shrimp were not that big either. The seasoning was a lot better than I expected. The seasoning was good, but it's nowhere near the quality that you'd find at Hot and Juicy Crawfish here in town or Pier 88. But it was still something that I was willing to try. And then it was time for desserts. Desserts are always good at these buffets, these mega buffets. They have really good desserts. Save room for dessert. They're pretty small, so you can usually try a number of items. And of course, I couldn't try everything, but I heard that their donuts were really good from watching other YouTubers. I wanted to try a lot of things, but I just didn't have room. I was pretty full at this point, but they have all kinds of desserts to suit your preference. On this particular day, I had a craving for chocolate, so all of the chocolate items looked appealing to me. They did have gelatos, sorbets, and I don't know if they had ice cream, but the chocolate items were the ones that were appealing to me, like this molten lava cake, a warm molten lava cake. They had an attractive item. It was called orange cones. It kind of tasted like the bottom of a drumstick ice cream that you find in your grocery stores. Their chocolate mousse is always good. This one was topped with crumbled Oreos. And that warm chocolate cake, this was also really good. It delivered. The desserts were really good, but there's only so much that I can eat, so I had to cut it off somewhere. All in all, this buffet at Wicked Spoon for me was worth it. It is more expensive than it used to be, but things are different now. But for me, the buffets, it is what it is. It's where it's at now. At the end of the meal, I noticed that the line had actually gotten smaller. But I guarantee you the lines will get longer again. And there is still free parking if you're a Nevada resident. And I don't know the price if you're a non-resident. You'll have to check the details yourself or contact the hotel. Well, that's gonna do it from here at Wicked Spoon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.